Chapter 81, Again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No, Liam said, shaking his head. Keep an eye on its health. It took a beating summoning those undead villagers. Time to focus on the boss. As soon as he finished, he hammered the boss with more attacks, and everyone else jumped in. This boss fight was supposed to be a nightmare, with waves of undead mobs attacking while the boss wailed on you, but now, thanks to their strategy and positioning, it was a piece of cake. All they had to do was whittle down its health. When the boss's massive 5 million health bar was almost empty, the Wraith General started casting something again, but Liam cut him off with a fireball right in the kisser. Spells could be interrupted like that. Everyone was stunned. Eat this. Took on a whole new meaning. The Wraith went ballistic and shrieked, making everyone, even Liam, flinch as the piercing noise hit their ears. As a last-ditch effort, it mumbled something in an ancient language, and a red glow started to envelop Liam. Since he was dealing the most damage, the boss's final move was to try and possess him. Everyone noticed and started freaking out. They were so close to finishing this damn dungeon. After grinding like crazy, how could this happen now? Mina! Shin Su yelled, and the healer started slinging spells to heal or cleanse him, but the red glow just got darker. Dude, try running around or jumping. Kim Hyun suggested randomly, but Liam stood his ground. He was trying to stay calm, but he had a slight frown and was grinding his teeth. That made everyone even more nervous. Shin Su knew things looked bad. Just blast the boss with everything you've got. It's almost dead. Move it. Move it. Move it. He shouted urgently. Everyone went back to pounding the boss, which was easier now that it was focused on Liam. Their attacks were weakened, but it was enough to finish the job, and before long, ding. Congratulations. You have defeated the demonic Wraith General. Ding. 10,000 experience points awarded. Ding. You are the first to clear the Moon Lake dungeon on hard difficulty. Your achievement will be etched in history. Shin Su, Mina, Kim Hyun, and Chung Hee were completely speechless. They suspected the difficulty was off somehow, but they never dreamed of this. Their no-name team had actually gotten a first clear. They all leveled up, and the boss dropped a ton of shiny stuff on the lake shore. It was insane. They knew Liam was good, but this was on another level. Even Chung Hee, who had been jealous before, now looked at him with awe. Everyone else had the same look on their faces. Golden ticket. They had to hold on tight. No matter what. And just when they thought things couldn't get any crazier, another notification popped up. Ding. World announcement. Congratulations to the Just Chilling party for the first clear of the Moon Lake dungeon on hard difficulty. Party members: Shin Su, Kim Hyun, Kong Mina, Chung Hee, Chong Liam. Holy *T. Shin Su dropped his shield. They got a world announcement. No one could believe it. Everyone cheered and celebrated. Their names would be legendary. While they were celebrating, the guy who actually made it happen was frowning. Liam shook his head. He wanted the Wraiths, possess skill, to last longer. He was trying something out, but these guys were too eager and finished the boss. Oh well. Doesn't matter. I'll get it next time. He clicked his tongue and looked at the fox, which was bouncing up and down. The bird and the fox both leveled up. Grinding in this dungeon was a great idea. Just a few more runs. The team turned to Liam with big, adoring eyes, and he smiled back. Dude, Another run? Liam chuckled. He nailed what everyone was thinking. They all nodded like crazy, and Liam was pleased. He shrugged and started back to the portal when Shin Su remembered something. Dude, the loot. Oh, right. You guys grab it. Liam stopped. Shin Su got nervous. What if he picked up the loot and it sucked? Mina, you're the lucky one. You grab it. What? The healer wanted to swear, but with Liam watching, she forced a smile and stepped up. If they kept arguing, Liam might ditch them for another group. They were just playing together randomly. 2 gold, the girl said, picking up the coins. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the next one, then she screamed. Havoc. Oh my god. 3 rings. 2 uncommon and 1 rare. Oh. A skill book, too. What are the stats? Quick. Quick. Hyun gasped, but Mina shook her head and walked over to Liam, handing him everything. Here, this is all yours, she said shyly. Chapter 82, Unassigned Stat Points. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liam chuckled, keeping his thoughts to himself. He calmly picked up the 2 rings and checked them out. Spectre Halo, uncommon rank, intellect +3, agility +3, undead Halo, uncommon rank, strength +3, agility +3, wraith Halo, rare rank, intellect +8, agility +5. Additional skill, mana regeneration increased by 2%. Nice. Not just uncommon rank. Liam was pleased with the item descriptions. Rings were good drops because you could wear as many as you could get your hands on. Most players decked out every finger with rings, plus, these stats were solid. The rare ring was good enough to use until level 50. Equipment in Evolution Online was ranked white, common, uncommon, rare, unique, epic, and legendary. You could only find unique, epic, and legendary gear on high-level mobs, so rare equipment was a great find at this point. Still, Liam wasn't about to backtrack. He'd already promised them the loot and money. He looked at the healer and said, hand it over. Mina held out her palm. He gave her all 3 rings. You guys figure out who gets what. I'll take the skill book. It was Flame Burst, basically a beefed-up version of Fireball, that used more mana. Liam wondered if it had dropped because he'd done most of the damage and relied on fire magic. It was worth testing and another reason to run the dungeon again. 5 minutes, then we're going again. The area outside the dungeon was a zoo, so Liam sat down on the first street in front of the portal. That way, they could just walk out and right back in when they were ready. He also used the chance to check his stats. Name, Liam, species, human, gender, male, level, 17.exp, 200/18300. Class, n/a. Titles, rolling in debt, perfectionist, soul devourer, health, 7500/7500. Mana, 5000/5000. Stamina, 60. Strength, 60. Defense, 60. Vitality, 60. Agility, 60. Intellect, 60. Unassigned points, 84. Skills, throat punch, slash, sword dance, demonic summon, awaken, stealth, pickpocket, unlock, tame, ice shard, lightning bolt, fireball, lava rain, spirit slash, skill locked, spirit wrath, skill locked, trade skills, alchemy, intermediate level, forging, master level. Liam stared at the status window, lost in thought. He still had a ton of unassigned points he hadn't bothered to use yet. In Evolution Online, stats were evenly distributed until level 10, but after that, players could choose how to spend their points. Each level gave a 2-point boost to every stat, so Liam had racked up 84 points total. Agility and strength will help with my swordplay. Intellect boosts my mana control. Actually, you could improve every stat independently by doing specific things, so no matter what he chose, he could always make up for it later. But Liam wasn't planning on it. It was all temporary. Any strength he gained was just to access higher level areas. It wouldn't carry over to real life. Only your soul strength, spirit strength, and what you learned in this tutorial mattered. Anything you understood in the game stayed with you. Nobody could take that knowledge away. Whatever. No need to overthink it. I'll just put some points in everything, a little extra in intellect. Liam quickly put 13 points into the other stats and 19 into intellect. He was planning on focusing on mage and necromancy skills to get a better understanding of them. Unless he found some sword heritage, this was his best bet. Some people had stumbled across those heritages, which explained all the concepts since everyone was trying to learn to use mana intuitively. These were the real treasures. Shortcuts that gave you instant spoilers, but nobody talked about them. There wasn't any info available. That didn't mean Liam had given up. He knew all the players who'd gotten heritages thanks to the Walls of Fame. Some even belonged to famous guilds. So he could guess where they might have found them. Liam chuckled wryly. If he'd known he'd get a do-over, he would have paid more attention to the details. For now, his best lead was the necromancy heritage. It had to be in the Nether Realm. It made sense, and the player who got it found it when the Nether Realm event started, so, putting it together, this was the one he had the best shot at, which was why he was investing in intellect as he was lost in thought. The little fox that was bouncing around him, trying to catch a bird, noticed the skill book next to him. It got bored and started playing with the book. One thing led to another, and the fox was enveloped in light as it learned the skill. Q. Chapter 83, Check the World Announcement. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The little fox clearly knew it had screwed up. Its usually adorable face was scrunched up like it was constipated, and it stared at Liam like a thief caught red-handed. Alright, what happened now? Papa. Liam visibly winced. That term still rubbed him the wrong way. Ahem, just call me, Master. Q. The fox bobbed its head eagerly, ready to do whatever it took to make amends. Okay. Spill it. What did you do? That the little beast glanced around nervously, then, realizing there was no way to weasel out of it, blurted, Master. I ate the book. Huh. Liam froze. He picked up the fox and examined it closely. It was only level 1. How could it already learn skills? As soon as he picked it up, the little fox started panicking even more and began to cry. Now what? Liam was speechless. Hey, it's okay. Books are fine. I'll give you more books to eat later. Seeing him interact with the fox so gently, the others standing around were completely dumbfounded. Was this the same guy who had been grilling them all for the past few hours? Mina, the healer, had been eyeing the fox since the beginning. She was a sucker for cute things, and the fox was ridiculously adorable. With a bright, beaming smile, she decided to seize the opportunity and talk to Liam, but before she could, a private message popped up in their group chat. Inside the private chat, Shin Su, Tank, stop hitting on him so hard. You're gonna scare him off. Kim Hyun, thief, yeah, you'll scare him off with your face. Hee hee. Kong Mina, healer, you're both idiots. Kong Mina, healer. Kim Hyun, I'm not healing your sorry ass. Chung Hee, Mage 1, what are the stats on the 2 rings? Are they good? And what skill book dropped? Shin Su, Tank, the rings are solid. For now, Mina gets 2, and I get 1. Forget the skill book, it wouldn't be cool to ask for more details. Chung Hee, Mage 1, I was just curious. Shin Su, Tank, I'm also planning to give the rare ring back to him when we finish all the runs. Anyone object? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Chung Hee, Mage 1, I'm good with that. Kong Mina, healer +1. Kim Hyun, thief +1. Shin Su, Tank, good. Everyone better be on their best behavior during this run. Step it up. While they were busy chatting, with several messages popping up, the rejected mage chimed in, Gu Sunho, Mage 2, don't tell me. Hoo. You guys actually finished the first run? Kim Hyun, thief dude, why is this guy still in the group? Kick him. Gu Sunho, Mage 2, please. Who do you think is gonna carry your dead weight in the next run? I only need a couple more hours, by the way. I'll be level 20. Humph. Kim Hyun, thief, he. Gu Sunho, Mage 2, kek. All my gear is uncommon. Get it now. Kim Hyun, thief, he. Gu Sunho, Mage 2, what? Did jealousy fry your brain? Kim Hyun, thief, he. Gu Sunho, Mage 2, your mom. Shin Su, Tank, alright. Enough. Both of you. Cut it out. Kim Hyun, stop spamming the chat and get ready for the next run. Need I say more? Gu Sunho, Mage 2, you guys are seriously going for another run? You're kidding, right? Gu Sunho, Mage 2, the first run took forever. Isn't this a waste of time? Gu Sunho, Mage 2. Gu Sunho, Mage 2. Gu Sunho, Mage 2. Kim Hyun, thief, check the world announcement, dummy. He. Since the four of them were no longer chatting, Gu Sunho quickly opened the Hall of Fame feature to take a look. He hadn't bothered with it before, as he had been running a dungeon himself, but now he had some time to kill. Besides, he was curious about Kim Hyun's cryptic message. The jerk was acting like the announcement had something to do with him. As if. His eyes scanned past the initial congratulatory message and landed on the party name and the names of the members. Holy shit. Gu Sunho felt his head spin, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. How the hell is this possible? He knew their team's capabilities better than anyone. How could something like this even be remotely possible? Unless, the person they had teamed up with was a freaking monster. Damn it. Why did I get kicked out? Aw. His luck was total crap today. This wasn't fair. As he stood there stunned, the group he was currently running with called him, and Gu Sunho could only cry inwardly as they started the dungeon again. But Gu Sunho wasn't the only one who saw the world announcement. The Moon Lake dungeon had become even more crowded ever since the announcement. Several elite teams from top guilds were running it again to figure out the secret to triggering hard mode. The hard mode dungeon record was still up for grabs, and more importantly, there might be an even tougher difficulty level beyond that. So, to get those clears, everyone was scrambling to the Moon Lake dungeon, and among those people was a certain redhead. Damn it. How the heck is this possible? Alex gritted her teeth and swung the axe she was carrying onto the ground. The thud echoed in the air. Chapter 84, again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chill, sis. Ray managed a weak smile, but he quickly averted his gaze when his sister shot him a death glare. We've run that dungeon a dozen times and still haven't unlocked hard mode, and this jackass does it on the first try. Alex was fuming. Come on, sis, we already have the first clear and the dungeon record for normal mode. Why not just let it go? Are you kidding me? I already told you about our situation and why we're investing in this game. How can you be so nonchalant? Seeing Alex was about to tear into Ray, Mia sighed and stepped in. Leave him alone, Alex. I don't want you guys stressing out so much. That's not what our parents would have wanted. I told you, if it means we have to let go of that company, we will. It'll be okay. Ah. Sorry. I didn't mean to. Alex didn't want to hurt Mia. She knew she was really upset, even if she wasn't showing it. It's all right. Mia patted Alex with a gentle smile, then asked, so, what's the plan now? A golden aura surrounded Mia as she had advanced further in her healer class. What do you think? Alex grinned. We're hitting the Moon Lake dungeon. Heh. Alex. Mia was speechless. You want me to de-stress, right? What better way to do that than this? Heh heh. Sis. Ray had a sinking feeling. I'm going to hunt that guy down and send him back to square one. I might even camp his corpse and keep beating him senseless. He wants me to sign a slave contract. We'll see who signs what. Humph. Since players past level 25 couldn't enter the level 20 Moon Lake dungeon, Heavenly Retribution, led by Alex, Mia, and Ray, rushed over to the dungeon, just like all the other guilds, with several elite teams suddenly swarming Alika City. The whole place descended into chaos, fights erupted everywhere, and people started hawking wares outside the dungeon. They were just selling consumables, but they marked up the prices way higher than in the city and made a quick buck. Meanwhile, Liam and his team appeared near the dungeon portal and vanished inside. The village, once cleared, was now swarming with specters again. Liam saw everyone staring at him, waiting for him to speak, so he chuckled. You all know the drill, right? So, what are you waiting for? Let's get started. Shin Su gulped and double-checked. So, everything's the same as last time, bro. I mean, everything, including pulling all the mobs. Liam nodded. Yep, exactly like that. Anyone got a problem with it? Everyone nodded like bobbleheads, and the tank quickly stepped forward to pull the first mob. His movements were more fluid and confident than before. Damage numbers popped up, and everyone could see the results of their previous run. Kim Hyun and Chung Hee had both leveled up, and their damage output was noticeably higher. The healer was also grinning ear to ear, thanks to the boost from the new ring. She could see everyone's health bar filling up with just the weakest healing spell, but this was all temporary, unfortunately. When Liam casually stepped in and started casting his fireballs, each attack shot through the air like a cannonball. Chung Hee was especially dumbfounded, gaping at the new damage numbers. It was already unbelievable, and now it was even higher. After distributing all the stat points, Liam's damage numbers improved by a decent amount. Since he had been saving them up, the sudden change was very obvious, and it didn't stop there. After Liam tossed a fireball, another huge ball of fire hurtled towards the specters. Fire blast. And the caster was none other than the little fox jumping up and down near Liam's feet. The bird didn't do anything yet, but that last attack was definitely from the fox. Q. 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 The little thing looked ecstatic. Everyone looked at Liam, then at the tiny fox beside him. They couldn't decide who was more of a monster. Not many people had pets yet, and the available pet formations weren't great, so, it was shocking to see a tiny little pet casting a magic spell, especially considering that Liam was a mage. Chung Hee wanted to cry. It was embarrassing to see that his own class could be so much more powerful. Just like him, another person also wanted to cry, but for a different reason. Kong Mina desperately wanted to scoop up that tiny little fox and run away. But she was a little too terrified of Liam to do it. The group continued grinding the specters the same way they had before, and even though they all thought it would be a lot easier this time, considering the number of mobs Liam was pulling, it ended up being just as taxing. They still chased after every single mob in the dungeon, and Liam, surprisingly, seemed a bit slower in attacking. He seemed engrossed in deep thought, taking his time sending out fireballs. The others didn't know what skill book had dropped, so they were waiting for him to use the new skill. But it never happened. He even used lava rain, sparingly, sticking mostly to fireballs. Of course, it would make their lives a lot easier if he did something more, but who was going to complain? The man was still doing the lion's share of the damage. At this point, the only consolation for the rest of the team was that their damage numbers were at least higher than the little foxes. Chapter 85, again. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A few hours flew by, and the group had already run the dungeon twice more without a break. Everyone, including Liam, leveled up again, and the Wind Ripper hit level 3. The fox, however, was still at level 1. It actually took more experience points for a spirit beast to level up than a human. Liam patted the little creature and gave it a berry. It didn't need it, but it was staring at him while he was snacking, so he shared. Shin Su, watching this, decided to speak his mind, but Liam cut him off. Again. Let's go. The tank gave a wry smile, looking at his teammates. They were decked out in new gear from head to toe, and their pockets were overflowing. Liam had been incredibly generous, and they'd gained a lot, but still, they couldn't face running the same dungeon repeatedly, especially considering how tough each run was. Even though they were fully healed, and the lake water had somewhat refreshed their minds, the constant strain was getting to them. This wasn't like sitting in one spot and grinding for hours. They had to physically move, run, fight, and sweat. It took discipline and a strong will. Not everyone could train like this non-stop. Shin Su wanted to tear his hair out. He was exhausted, but he also didn't want to lose touch with Liam. He had a feeling he wouldn't get another chance to meet someone like him. He mentally lamented his situation and nodded lightly. Everyone behind him gasped silently. They'd been hoping Shin Su would say no, but he'd agreed right away. Shin Su, guys, let's just get through this. This has gotta be the last time. Even he's gotta be getting tired, Kong Mina, Kim Hyun, Chung Hee. Seeing this, another person chimed in, unashamed, Gu Sunho, if anyone wants to tap out, I'm free to jump in, Shin Su, Kong Mina, Kim Hyun, Chung Hee, Gu Sunho, dude, really? You guys are pushing it. Everyone was tired, but nobody wanted to give up their spot. They could only grit their teeth and keep going. And then another run, and another, and another. Finally, at the end of the next run, nobody even had the energy to stand. Luckily, Liam had a smile on his face this time, instead of his usual serious expression. Alright. I hit level 20. You guys should be at least 22 or 23, right? This isn't an efficient place to grind anymore. Should we head out? That he even seemed energized and relaxed, like he'd just had a massage. Everyone else was in rough shape, they could only nod silently. Finally, Shin Su managed to speak up. Bro, are we going to another dungeon now? What's the plan? He asked hesitantly, dreading the answer. The others looked stunned. Another dungeon? Was this guy trying to kill them all? They looked alarmed, ready to protest. But it seemed their luck, or rather their misfortune, had finally run out. Liam shook his head. No, I've got something else to do. Let's split up here. Before he could finish, he heard a collective sigh of relief and chuckled. Good luck. He left the party and casually walked out of the dungeon. The four who had just sighed in relief suddenly had different expressions. Shit, Kong Mina was the first to shout. Ah. Friend request. She didn't wait for Shin Su and immediately sent Liam a request. The next second, she got the notification. Ding. Your friend request has been accepted. He accepted it. He accepted it. She grinned and jumped up and down in shock. He accepted it. Shin Su hurriedly sent one too, ding. Your friend request has been accepted. Oh. He accepted mine. He felt relieved. Now it would be much easier to contact him in the future. Seeing their success, the other two quickly sent requests, but unfortunately, they didn't get a response. Their requests were probably buried among the others from the world announcement. It's okay, why the long faces? We're going to be playing together anyway. I'll talk to him, and you can send requests again later. Don't spam him now. Shin Su stood up. He already planned to contact Liam later to return the rare drops they'd gotten from the dungeon. Since they'd been running on hard mode every time, they'd gotten lucky and found 3 rare drops in total. Liam didn't care about them and told them to keep them, but Shin Su wanted to return them. They could team up and play again. While he was thinking, Kong Mina proudly showed off. He. Don't worry. I can message him for you. He. Kim Hyun couldn't take it anymore and scoffed. What are you so happy about? Did you think you landed some rich whale? He looks like he's mixed race, and judging from his name, Chong Liam, he's probably from China, and you're from Korea. And more importantly, have you looked in the mirror? Even if he's some big shot, he wouldn't give you a second glance. Humph. Kim Hyun. I swear I'm going to let you die on the next run. Chapter 86, I Think You Are in Love. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After leaving the dungeon, Liam navigated the crowd, his 2 pets staying close. Suddenly, the sea of people parted, making way for a group. Liam paused, stepping aside. He knew exactly who they were and why they received such treatment. The American players belonged to the guild Mtlnovel Dominance, one of the top 10 guilds both in the game and in the real world. The 7 members heading toward the dungeon portal were the guild's main powerhouses. He quickly checked the leaderboard and, as expected, saw their names listed. He recognized almost every name. These were the people he'd looked up to in his past life, the ones he'd yearned to be like. Back then, it felt like a pipe dream, but now, Liam shook his head and started to walk away when he felt like he was being watched. It was a distinct sensation. He immediately activated stealth, his figure blurring out of sight. Seconds later, a fiery redhead appeared where he'd been standing, her eyes scanning the crowd. I swear. I just saw him here. Alex sighed, exasperated. The other players nearby stiffened as a gorgeous woman suddenly appeared. Sis. Ray said seriously. I gotta tell you something. What? Alex snapped back. I think, you're in love. He scratched his chin, as if he'd just cracked a complex code. What did you say? Alex turned around, forgetting about Liam. Her full attention was now on her younger brother. Ha. I mean, you're seeing his face everywhere. Ray immediately regretted his words. Say that again. I dare you, Alex said, taking a few steps toward her brother, who looked like he wanted to bolt. Sis, the guild's watching. Have mercy. Humph. Who cares? Say something stupid like that again, and forget the game. I'll beat you senseless when you get out of that capsule. Alex took a deep breath and rejoined her group, now calm and composed, with no trace of her earlier anger, though, every so often, she still glanced around, searching for the figure she'd glimpsed in the crowd. Liam, meanwhile, was long gone, with a couple of days left before the black market reopened. He wanted to leave Alika City only after submitting his smithing quest and receiving the next part of the chain quest. Every place I need to visit after this is a high-level zone, so I should just focus on leveling up until the market opens. Also, I should probably log out and make sure everything's okay at home. When Liam logged out and exited the game capsule, he was immediately hit with loud music blasting through the apartment, along with several voices. Huh? What's she up to? He scratched his head and walked into the living room, where he was met with utter chaos. A bunch of random girls were jumping, dancing, working out, or doing whatever. He spotted his next-door neighbor and his sister at the front. Hope you don't mind. My apartment's power went out, Shinyu said with her usual polite smile, slightly out of breath as she kept moving. Please, bro. Class is almost over. Just 5 more minutes. Mei chimed in, mirroring Shinyu's movements. She was also winded. Liam was speechless. Everything around him was jiggling, shaking, and moving too much. He took one look at the chaotic scene and made a U-turn back to his room. He could hear giggling behind him, but he didn't care and quickly shut the door. He'd heard 5 minutes, so he decided to take a shower first. He also ordered a bunch of food for dinner. By the time he finished showering, the food had arrived, and the crowd in their apartment had cleared out. Only his sister and Shinyu were collapsed on the living room floor. Oh my god, that food smells amazing, Shinyu exclaimed. Bro, sis is a huge foodie, Mei added. You're welcome to join us for dinner, Liam said with a polite smile. He didn't mind the intrusion. He was happy to see his sister finally happy and smiling like a normal teenager. Wow. Thanks. Your brother's so nice, Mei, Shinyu chuckled, pulling herself off the floor. It's alright. I don't want to impose too much. Thanks for letting me use your apartment. She waved goodbye when her stomach let out a loud, embarrassing rumble. Mei couldn't help but laugh. Sis, don't worry about it. Just have dinner with us, she said with a bright smile. Haha. Okay, Shinyu agreed with an awkward smile. Then I won't hold back. Let me wash up first. After she left, Mei turned to Liam and gave him a big thumbs up. Huh? What's that for? Chapter 87, They All Died. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hee. The girl giggled, winking at Liam. I know everything, bro. Huh? Know what? Hee. I'm not as dumb as I look, you know. She winked, and Liam finally got it. He gave her a wry smile and pinched her cheek. Don't talk nonsense. As they set the table, a surprised yelp came from Liam's room. She went in my room. Liam went to see what was up and found Shinyu gaping at his game capsule. Whoa. That's huge. Yeah, it's a full immersion rig, so it's pretty complex. By the way, there's another bathroom down the hall. Liam pointed to the one outside his room. Oh, sorry. My bad. I saw this and just wandered in. Shenyu was super embarrassed, she'd crossed a line, barging into his private space. No biggie. Liam waved it off. Join us when you're done. He went back to the living room, starving and ready to dig in. Shenyu clapped her hands to her face and shook her head. Then, she bolted out of his room and used the bathroom down the hall. She splashed water on her face and looked in the mirror, only to realize her shirt was soaking wet with sweat and totally see-through. You could see everything. Ah! She yelped again, and before Liam or his sister could react, she'd already bolted out of the apartment. I'll be right back. Gotta change. Her voice echoed from the hallway. What was that about? Liam asked his sister, who just shrugged. She had no idea either. When Shenyu came back, the TV was on, and Liam and Meilin were already on the couch, chowing down. Did he see everything? Shenyu swallowed hard, grabbed a plate, and piled it high, trying to act normal. She glanced at Liam, who was his usual expressionless self. That just made it worse, and her face turned bright red. She sat silently at the far end of the couch and ate. The news was on, with the same old story about the latest video game. Still no one knew how everything was hacked or who the mystery developer was behind the revolutionary game. Well, figures, they're focusing on the wrong things. Liam sighed under his breath. Did you say something, bro? Meilin asked. He shook his head. Nope. Nothing. Oh, hey, did you hear the news? The girl was so excited to tell him, she slammed her plate down and shouted with her mouth full. Swallow first, idiot, Liam chuckled. Humph. You wouldn't be so calm if you knew. She pouted. Shenyu watched them, wondering what they were talking about. Remember those bullies who cornered us the other day? Yeah. Liam casually shoveled another forkful of food into his mouth. He already knew what was coming. Bro. They died. They actually died. Oh, really? He slowly chewed, savoring the fried chicken. What happened? Their gaming software malfunctioned, apparently, and they died inside their capsules. Their parents found them after they hadn't come out for a couple of days. Meilin launched into the whole story, repeating what she'd read online. It was all over the news, and the gaming capsule company was getting sued. There were also all sorts of protests about how gaming was a cancer on society and blah blah blah. So they're blaming it on a capsule malfunction. Liam chuckled inwardly. He knew nothing was going to change. Human greed was limitless. Despite the risks, nobody would care in the long run. Once serious gamers started making bank, it was only going to get bigger until the bubble burst and everyone got a rude awakening. Meilin snapped him out of his thoughts, grabbing his hand worriedly. Bro, maybe you should play a little less too. Liam smiled and ruffled her hair. Don't worry, dummy. I'm using different gear. Their guys probably cut corners. That's why theirs malfunctioned. Ours are top of the line, so you don't have to sweat it. Shenyu finally found her voice and jumped into the conversation. Oh. What kind do you think is good? I'm thinking about getting one too. Liam nodded, gave her some recommendations, finished his food, and went back to his room. He fired up his desktop. He opened the official website for the game, which was really just some gamers and a company turning the most popular gaming site into Evolution Online. Since no other company had stepped up with a lawsuit, they were getting away with acting as the official site. Liam signed in as a guest and posted. I died a few times in game today and I am feeling a bit sick when I logged out. Did anyone else experience this? I died a few times in game today and I am feeling a bit sick when I logged out. Did anyone else experience this? I died a few times in game today and I am feeling a bit sick when I logged out. Did anyone else experience this? He made the same post on a few threads and signed out. That was it. He could only drop hints. Even doing that was risky, otherwise, he'd be stuck in the spotlight before he was ready. Chapter 88, It #39, S Raining Black. You are listening at novelfull.audio. May, make sure you lock up good before you go to sleep. Liam called out, reminding his sister again. Then he stretched, yawned big, and climbed back into his game pod. Is your brother always this sweet? Shinyu asked, sounding a little jealous. She didn't have any siblings, and her parents had pretty much shut her out when she refused to study medicine like they wanted. She'd rather be a dancer, and for now, she was working as a personal trainer to pay the bills. Yeah, my big bro's always nice to me, Maylin said. Then she grinned and winked. Why do you ask, Sisyu? Oh, nothing. Just curious, Shinyu said, suddenly flustered, and turned back to the TV. Seeing her reaction, May got even more excited and couldn't resist teasing her. He doesn't have a girlfriend either, Sisyu. He. Shinyu didn't say anything, just quickly shoved a spoonful of food in her mouth. But her face was already as red as a tomato. Meanwhile, back in the game, Liam glanced at the two leeches staring back at him and gave them a pat with a smile. Alright, let's get to work. The trio started wandering around Alika City while Liam tried to make up his mind. He had 48 hours, plus another 48, before the black market opened up again. That was a lot of time, and he needed to use it wisely. Leveling up was the top priority, and he knew plenty of good spots to do it, but he had a feeling he could be using his time even better. He opened the world map in his system interface and stared at the dark red blinking icon in the lower right corner, the Nether Realm. According to the reward details he'd gotten for wiping out those worthless souls, he should be able to enter and exit whenever he wanted. In his past life, Liam hadn't gotten to the Nether Realm until long after the event, and by then, all the good stuff was gone. He didn't know much about the place either, since he hadn't paid much attention to it. But with his SSS grade undead affinity in S grade demonic affinity, it would be dumb to ignore this part of the tutorial. If he was just going to level up, he might as well do it there and check out the Nether Realm at the same time. Efficiency was key. He might be slowing down his leveling a bit, but it was worth it to explore the place. Deciding, Liam pressed the blinking button. Immediately, a swirling mass of reddish-black energy appeared in front of him, a portal. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, this is a one-time use portal. It should disappear after I use it until I summon it again. Liam studied it carefully and then reached out his hand. At the same time, he was ready to react instantly. He had no idea what was on the other side. It wouldn't be anything he couldn't handle, but he doubted the system would make it easy on him. More likely, it would be the opposite. He looked at the bird and the fox and pointed to the portal before touching it. They did the same, and in the next second, all of them were pulled in. The lush green forests vanished, and they were now standing in what looked like a vast desert, except the sand was brownish green, the sky above was crimson, streaked with pitch-black clouds. Ding. You have entered the Nether Realm. Ding. You are the first player to discover the Nether Realm. Ding. 5,000 experience points have been rewarded. Ding. You have obtained the title, Pioneer. Pioneer. When the title is equipped, drop rates are higher, and experience points gained are boosted by 5%. Heh. Now that's a useful title. Liam clicked his tongue and opened the map in the system interface again. It showed that he was in the Zodal Empire in the Eastern Zone. If I remember right, this should be a demon kingdom. The Eastern Zone should be mostly demon kingdoms, and the South should be beastkin lands. He looked at the mostly blank map and tried to remember as much as he could, but his exact starting point didn't matter too much since necromancers were usually scattered throughout the Nether Realm. As he stared at the map, trying to jog his memory, a loud clap of thunder snapped him out of his thoughts. Black raindrops fell from the sky, wetting the barren desert and forming small black puddles. Liam caught a drop of the black rain on his finger and flicked it away. This was the Nether Realm's trademark debuff. Players avoided this rain like the plague because it decreased their stats and sizzled and burned on their skin. But Liam didn't feel any pain. He wasn't injured either. The drops soaked his clothes but were quickly absorbed, leaving them clean and dry again. the raindrops that landed on his hands and face were also readily absorbed, and before he could wonder why, he got his answer. Ding. You have been empowered by the nether. Ding. All your stats are increased by 10%. Chapter 89, On Their Own. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding. You've been empowered by the nether. Ding. All your stats increased by 10%. Ding. Experience points gained increased by 10%. Ding. Your pet 1 is afflicted by the nether. Ding. Your pet stats decreased by 10%. Ding. Your pet 2 is afflicted by the nether. Ding. Your pet stats decreased by 10%. Liam waited for the notifications to finish popping up. He'd expected some of them, but not the debuff on his pets. Thinking about it, though, it made sense. One was a common type, and the other a spirit type. Neither of them had his affinity for nether energy. Whatever. My experience point share should still work, so you can both level up. He glanced around, wondering which way to go. Suddenly, he heard skittering behind him. He spun around, drawing his sword instinctively. He relaxed a little when he saw what it was, just a horde of demon larvae passing by. Demon larvae, level 4. Health, 400. Liam checked their stats. They were just ants to him. You two want to take them on? He looked at the fox and the bird, wanting them to get used to fighting. It was something they needed to learn the hard way. No shortcuts, otherwise, they'd just be glass cannons, leeching his experience points. Q. The fox bounced excitedly, the bird was even more hyped, eyeing the larvae, potential demons, like they were tasty worms. They jumped into action without needing to be told twice. Liam, meanwhile, tried to decide where to head next. He kept an eye on them. There were about 50 or 60 larvae wriggling their way over. He wouldn't interfere unless things got bad, but he was still watching. The fox kept its distance and started firing off fire blasts one at a time. Q. It jumped for joy like it was playing a shooting game. Liam was having trouble concentrating. The adorable thing was putting on quite a show. It was like a fireworks display, and the attacks were wreaking havoc on the once organized horde. The bird used the chaos to clean up, swooping in and pecking at the injured larvae that were scattering. You guys even know how to work together. Liam nodded approvingly. He was even getting experience points from their efforts for once. It wasn't much, so when he spotted a group of poisonous scorpions nearby, he started tossing fireballs at them. He didn't want to just stand around while the others trained. He had plenty to learn, too. Aiming at the lead scorpion, Liam focused on the mana flowing through his body and started to cast a fireball. He stopped abruptly. For some reason, the mana felt different. Not bad, just more chaotic and restless. He used both hands to focus and conjured another fireball. Yeah, definitely different. Was it because he was in the nether? Liam wondered if that was why he'd gotten the attack boost notifications, too. Since when am I so sensitive to mana that I can feel such tiny changes? Something was up. He pondered this as he launched the fireball at one of the scorpions. These were level 15 beasts. Considering his enhanced stats from the body cleansing, plus the nether boost, the beast didn't stand a chance. The flames roared, destroying the scorpion's shell in one hit and killing it instantly. Ding. 75 experience points awarded. The experience points were low because of the level difference, but Liam was still stoked. He was mowing down beasts that were only 5 levels below him like they were level 1 larvae. He was also getting a better feel for the mana coursing through him. Maybe it was the fox's happy face, but Liam was grinning, too. It felt good not to be weak and scraping for leftovers. Ding. 75 experience points awarded. Ding. 75 experience points awarded. Ding. 75 experience points awarded. After killing 5 scorpions, Liam paused. There were more ahead, but he didn't attack yet. Awaken. He tried casting the only undead spell he knew. If he could feel such a difference with a fire spell, what would an undead spell feel like? No. I have to get it right this time. He clenched his fists. Liam closed his eyes and carefully focused on the changes in his body, muttering the spell and sensing everything as fully as he could. Chapter 90, Just Out of Reach. You are listening at Novelful.audio. The swirling mana inside Liam crashed against him, a turbulent, restless sea. As Liam focused, he sensed an unfamiliar presence, like a black stream mixing with a vast blue river. They didn't blend, but their interaction stirred them both up. Liam gritted his teeth, trying to seize the insight, but it shattered and scattered like a dropped glass. Damn it! He stretched, frustrated. He almost had it. He took a few deep breaths, calming down. It's okay. This is just the start. No need to rush. After composing himself, Liam glanced at the 5 undead scorpions awaiting his command. The other 2 pets had finished with the demon larvae, so he whistled, signaling everyone to follow. The group wandered the barren red desert. Everything was cracked and dry, with no vegetation in sight. Occasionally, they encountered lower-level beasts, which Liam handled himself, or, if weak enough, he let the pets deal with. He didn't use the undead much, still training his spell casting, so they simply stayed close like unused bodyguards. He kept practicing fireballs. After a few minutes, Liam paused, realizing something new. The mana in the nether realm was thinner. It was still there, plenty of it, but the concentration was definitely lower. He wondered if he noticed this only because he had cleansed his body. Besides removing impurities, it also sharpened his mana sensitivity. Even a low-grade potion had this much effect. How effective would a high-grade or rare elixir be? The thought made Liam lick his lips, partly in anticipation, partly because he was parched from the desert. Okay, this isn't working. I need a good vantage point to get my bearings. He spotted a range of sharp hills in the distance. He headed toward them and started climbing. Luckily, it wasn't too steep, so everyone followed easily. They hiked for a while, finally reaching the top of the tallest hill. Liam looked around and sighed. The air was cooler here. He had come prepared, pulling out a water bottle from his inventory. The cool water was refreshing, and he drank deeply. As he did, the fox jumped excitedly and ran toward something. Phew! Liam saw the fox heading toward a thorny bush with berries. Stop! Don't eat that! He warned the furry ball of energy. He knew nothing here was edible, even the beasts were poisonous. The berries were likely poisonous too. The fox stopped, drooping its head in sadness. Liam looked at the fox, then at the bird. One barely registered, while the other was constantly trying to be cute. He was amazed by the contrast. He chuckled, pulling out some berries and meat from his inventory. My bad. I should have fed you guys sooner. The pets instantly devoured the food, while the undead stood as if nothing was happening. After settling the food situation, Liam paced, peering down from the edges of the cliff to get a sense of the area. Unfortunately, the height wasn't enough. He could only see the red sand desert stretching to the horizon, with hills and rocky terrain here and there. What the heck? He scratched his head, deciding to try another cluster of hills nearby. Just as he was about to give up, a faint whizzing noise sounded, and Liam saw a red flare shooting into the sky. Oh! That's gotta be a demon settlement. Liam's eyes lit up, noting the direction before climbing down. The fox and bird were reluctant to leave the cooler air above, but they followed Liam. The group continued, soon running into a pack of rabid dogs with longer tails and horns. There were 10 of them, baring their teeth at the juicy prey before them. Rabid hound, level 21. Health, 20,000. Get back. Don't engage. Liam warned his pets, stepping forward and drawing his sword. Rabid hounds were demon beasts strong in both strength and agility. Some could also use demonic magic. He couldn't simply use fireballs and use these guys as sparring partners, especially with 10 against 1. He had to go all out.